Updating your CV, posting on LinkedIn and working harder won't get you the director's job, but something I learned in 15 years as a #1 recruiter, and it's how 200 women I've coached have landed head of director, VP and C-suite jobs with a 20 to 70k pay increase. So in this video, I'm going to show you why everything you're doing to land that director's role isn't working and the exact shifts that will. The reason you're not getting to director level, it's got nothing to do with experience or qualifications. It's to do with the identity that you're operating from. Because there's an identity gap, and this gap is costing you dearly, and this gap is often unseen. Let me explain. At manager level and all the levels that you've been below, working harder, delivering more gets you promoted. But when you want to shift into director level, you need a whole new identity, because it's how senior people perceive you that is going to get you hired into those roles. It's two different games entirely. Most women are trying to work harder, take on more responsibility, but that doesn't get them promoted at director level. Hiring managers don't pay for effort at director level. They pay for the perception that somebody is already operating like that strategic director. And here's the other thing. You write your CV from your identity. So when that's too low, no CV or LinkedIn profile update is going to land the role for you until you shift your identity, and that's when everything can change. So until you shift your identity to the right level, no CV or LinkedIn update is going to move you up to director. Okay, so now you're going to want to know the 3 shifts that get you noticed. So hiring managers and senior leaders, they're not looking for the hardest worker. They're looking for these 3 specific signals, and most women aren't doing any of them. Signal number 1 is commercial thinking. Hiring managers are looking for somebody who talks about shifting the business, and that means creating bigger impact, not about talking about the team and the tasks that they've done. So you've got to shift from being busy operationally to being busy strategically. Signal number 2 is ownership beyond their remit. So people at director level are looking for huge problems to solve in the business. They're not waiting around for somebody else to do it. They're looking at, here's something we can fix that's going to have a big strategic impact on the business, and they're making those problems their problems, and they're providing those bigger solutions to those problems. Signal number 3 is influence with senior stakeholders. Hiring managers care about who trusts you at the top of that business. So if you're dealing with people at manager level operationally, that's one way of doing business, but it's all about who knows you at the top, and also getting recognized by those people for your strategic impact. So the level of stakeholder who you deal with in your day-to-day is going to have a direct impact on how you are seen by the people who hire. Hiring managers are checking who already trust you at the top. So you're wanting to get seen for that impact by those senior leaders, by the C-suite. You want to be mixing with those people in your day-to-day and demonstrating that. If that isn't in your CV, you're going to start getting overlooked. That was like my client Ada, who was showing up as a 100k generalist when we repositioned her with all 3 signals so that she landed a 140k director of AI enablement role, and that got her a 40k pay increase in just 3 months. So it's okay knowing this stuff, but it's all about taking action. So here's 3 things that you can do to take action on this week. Okay, here's the first one. Get on the right projects. So when the projects come to you, you want to be understanding, does it have a senior sponsor? Is this high value work aligned with the director role that you want to land? And who's got eyes on this? Because time is your most valuable asset, and spending your time on the right level work is how you're going to get seen as being that right level. Okay, the next one is to get visible on stages. This is all about becoming that thought leader, manager. So it might be leading the offsite. It might be being on a panel discussion. It might be posting some thought leadership on LinkedIn. When you are getting visible for the right things at the right level, this is when you can start building that credibility as a thought leader, as the very specific expert within your niche. The next one is get found by the right people. So the women who are getting hired into those director roles, they're not applying online, they're getting found online. And having a LinkedIn profile that is perfectly positioned for the director role, paying 140k that you want, is how you can get the recruiters and the headhunters coming to you. Not only that, when you're then reaching out to the relevant people, or if you're applying, you're getting seen at the very specific role that you want to be known at, and that's going to convert much quicker into you being able to get on the shortlist, get interviews, and get that offer, that high paying job that you want. So these 3 shifts will absolutely change how the market sees you and the money that you will get offered. So pick one of these and start this week. Drop a comment below and tell me how long you've been stuck at manager level waiting for that director role that never comes. Are you watching other people less qualified land those roles that you really want to get? Tell me about it. I want to hear it below. And hit subscribe so that you can catch the next video when it drops.